And just when you think you couldn't get enough, URC kicks off this weekend. My first season covering the URC, and I can't wait. Previews, reviews, fantasy rugby, predicting. We're doing it all. We're covering it all. So please let me know in the comments, who do you go for? Who's your team? Who's going to win it? Who's your must-have in rugby fantasy for the URC? Join our pool with short ball rugby. I'll put the link in the description. And it's going to be a big season of covering all things URC. Before we do get into it, hit that subscribe. Let me know in the comments who your team is, who you're going to be looking out for, who your players to watch. Oh man, I can't wait. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kick On Rugby channel. I'm your host, Dane Sherritt, and it's our first season or first year of covering the URC, and I can't wait. This episode or this video, we're just going to a quick little overview touching on upcoming fixtures, the first round of the URC, some players to watch, my favorites to win it or to win the games, and who I think is going to win the whole competition, and my sneaky fantasy buys. Rugby fantasy, URC fantasy is here. I love it. So let's get straight into it. So big first weekend of URC rugby coming up. South African sides, their first week is postponed because the Currie Cup is still carrying on. I think it's only semi-finals, then next week's the finals. So all South African side games are postponed. But man, with the South African teams, with the handful of Springboks spread throughout the South African teams, they all are going to be an absolute handful this year. I think the depth across all squads is very, very scary. I do think the Sharks, with regards to depth, the Sharks probably have the biggest squad, the strongest squad. There is that many Springboks in their squad. Man, Oxenchair, Siakulisi, Eben Etzebeth, Andre Esterhuizen, Trevor Nyakane, Makuzolo Mapimpi, Apelele Fasi, like the list goes on. Pepsi Buthelezi, the list goes on and on and on. Very, very strong squad. And you look at guys like the Stormers, also a very strong squad. Lions, Blue Bulls, of course. Blue Bulls coming second last year, so they'll look to go one better. But we're going to touch on the games, the first round of the URC. Get into it. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys think. It's my first year covering it, and I can't wait for it, man. So first game, Edinburgh versus Leinster. Holy, how do you start the season with a game like that? Huge start to the season. So many guns in both sides. I'm looking at Edinburgh. I'm looking at Duan van der Merwe as a sneaky buy. It's not really a sneaky buy in your fantasy. I think a lot of guys will have them in his fantasy side. But he's definitely someone I'm going to be putting in my fantasy side. For Leinster, obviously, Caelan Doris, a big one there. I think he's captain this year, but that many Irish players in this Leinster squad, very, very scary. So Caelan Doris will be someone I'm looking at. Obviously, Geordie Barrett when he comes around, when he's finished with All Black duties and he knocks on Leinster's door. But then someone else who I'm really looking at and could be a sneaky buy, this one is Jamie Osborne. Made his Irish debut versus Springboks and was fantastic. Love his form and how he went about his business there. I think Leinster win this one, win away from home. Be a tough old outing versus Edinburgh, but I think Leinster get the job done there. Next game is Cardiff versus Zebra. Another big one, Cardiff at home. Callum Sheedy, the big off-season acquisition for Cardiff. Maybe a sneaky fantasy grab there, maybe on the bench. Obviously, the first round, there's no South African team, so you're looking elsewhere to fill your squad. For Zebra, I'm looking at front rower Daniello Fischetti. Really, really good for Italy in the Six Nations, and he'll be looking to build on that form. I think Cardiff win here. The home ground advantage. I'm backing Cardiff to win this one. Next game, Dragons versus Ospreys. Local derby should attract a ton of fans to the game. Wales Rugby obviously have had their issues with financial stability. I hope the clubs can just move past that and really put out competitive seasons across the board for the Welsh sides. Harry Wilson, the big signing for Dragons from Waratahs this year. Then I'm looking at guys like Tane Basham and Rio Dyer, obviously, to put their hands up to really lead the charge there. Aaron Wainwright still injured for the Dragons. For Ospreys, Jack Morgan, my guy here. I hope he can get over his run of injuries. He's had the worst luck on the injury front, and will look to really just carve up this season, make up for the time he's lost with injuries. Their big signing, this will be maybe a lot of people will know, Dan Kasende, speedster from the Cheetahs, out and out finisher, fast, electric, elusive, all those things you want to do, how someone would describe a winger. He's covering that, man. So he'll be very exciting for the Ospreys. I'm going Ospreys to win away from home here. Might be kind of a home game for them. I mean, they're playing in Wales still, but it is at Dragons' home ground. So I think Ospreys win away from home first round. Big Irish derby, Munster versus Connacht. Love it, man. Woof. I can't wait to cover the URC this season. Just looking at these games, knowing the South African teams still have to be involved as well. It's exciting. So Abrams, one to watch for Munster, the big signing for them in the offseason. Obviously, super fast and obviously knows his way to the try line. Josh Ioane has made his move from the Chiefs to Connacht, former All Black player, and obviously very excited to see what he can do in a different competition. I always love seeing what those guys, so like for Munster, Alex Nankivell in the centres, he's also come over from the Chiefs, but he's been there for a couple of seasons now, and I love seeing those guys make the transition from Super Rugby into URC in a more structured style of play, but in all, they're still playing rugby at the end of the day, and to see how well or not so good they adapt to it. Man, powerhouse of Munster at home. I think they'll be too strong for this one, so Munster will get the job done there. Benetton versus Scarlets. The rise of Italian clubs and Italian players is very exciting, man, and I can't wait to see how these players and clubs go this season. To Italy in the Six Nations were fantastic, man, and it's tributed to how well the clubs have been going and how the rise of such good individual players, and then bonding together to play really, really good rugby. So Louis Liner, big signing for Benetton from Harlequins. Obviously then playing for Italy as well. Be good to see how he goes. And then guys like Minincello and Lomaro, Brex as well. These guys did really, really good in the Six Nations this year for Italy. So it'll be very exciting to watch them play. And that's sneaky. When I talk about sneaky fantasy buys, Minincello and Lomaro, not very expensive, but they'll be gun and rack up a lot of points for you. So look at that. For the Scarlets, I'm looking at guys like Sam Costello and Tane Plumtree, even Via Fafita. It's guys that you know, but it's guys that they'll need to put their hands up for the Scarlet side. It's their key players, and they'll have to lead the charge for the Scarlets. Saying that, I think Benetton at home with the squad that they have will be too strong for the Scarlets here, and I think Benetton get the win. Last game for the round, because as I said, the Springbok or South African teams aren't involved for this first round. Ulster versus Glasgow. Huge game for the reigning champs, Glasgow. Aidan Morgan, a big signing for Ulster. Very, very talented player coming over from the Hurricanes. Again, another Super Rugby player making the transition up north, and will be very, very excited to see how he goes. Loves to attack the line, loves to play what's in front of him. He's a very off-the-cuff style player, but can kick the ball really well as well. So, and I think he's got Irish heritage. So I think that's why he's made the transition there to hopefully push for higher honours. He's a quality player, and so let's see how he goes. For Glasgow, obviously Hastings, the big signing over the off-season, coming in, fly off there. He's definitely one to look for in fantasy. Not that expensive, but a quality player as well. I'm looking at Glasgow to score a couple of tries. So if he's kicking his kicks well, that'll rack up some nice points there. Hugh Jones and Henku Fenter are my guys to look at. I'm going to say it, shameful plug, but I played with him at the Cheetahs in Bloemfontein. He's my age and he's still getting out there, getting the job done. Fantastic player on the back row and just hard, tough, loves the physical stuff. So be looking to him to lead the charge for Glasgow. I think Ulster at home will be too tough for the reigning champs, and I think Ulster get the job done there. That wraps it for the first round. I can't wait for it. I will still be doing fantasy round or fantasy rugby videos. So, man, hit that subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. How are my predictions looking? Oh, I can't wait for the season. The URC season kicks off. Let's go. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.